Most founders avoid giving feedback because it's uncomfortable, or they give it badly and make things worse. Today, I'm going to show you a simple framework that makes feedback conversations easier and it actually gets results. I call it Behaviour. A few years back, I was working with a business owner who was being held hostage by an employee. This guy would regularly turn up late to meetings. He was rude to other team members. He'd blame others for things that were clearly his responsibility. The business owner knew about all of this. Everyone knew, but nothing was changing. And the reason nothing was changing was because the feedback wasn't being given properly. It was vague, it was infrequent, and there was no record of it. So I started tracking the behaviour. Every time something happened, I wrote it down. Date. What happened? What was expected instead? Simple spreadsheet. Then I started giving the feedback directly. Not in a group setting, privately, as close to the event as possible. Within a few weeks, we had a clear pattern documented. And when the business owner saw that data, the decision became obvious. This person had to go. Here's what surprised me. When we let him go, the rest of the team was relieved. They'd been waiting for someone to address this. And it showed everyone that this kind of behaviour wasn't acceptable anymore. So how do you actually give feedback that works? I use a framework called Behaviour. B is for behaviour. Start with what you observed, not the person, the behaviour. This is important. You're not saying you're rude or you're lazy. You're describing what happened. In that meeting, I noticed you spoke over Sarah 3 times. Keep it factual. Keep it specific. Not judgment about who they are as a person. E is for effect. What happened because of that behaviour? The effect was that we didn't hear Sarah's perspective on the client issue. This connects the behaviour to a consequence. It's not just that you didn't like it. It actually caused a problem. The second E is for expectation. What would you like to see instead? I'd love it if you could help draw out the quieter team members in those discussions. You're giving them a clear alternative. Not just what was wrong, but what right looks like. R is for result. What's the benefit if they make this change? The result would be more diversity of thought, and you'll be helping the team grow. This gives them a reason to change. Not just because you said so. There's an actual upside. Let me give you a quick example of how this sounds in practice. Hey Alex, in that client meeting, I noticed only your voice was heard for most of the discussion. The effect was that we only got one perspective on that problem. I'd appreciate it if you could help draw out the quieter team members next time. And the result would be better ideas on the table, and it would help develop the junior staff. That's it. Behaviour, effect, expectation, result. Beer. You don't have to follow it in that exact order. Sometimes you just start with the effect. Sometimes you lead with the expectation. But those are the 4 ingredients that should all be there. Now, there are 2 different types of feedback, and they need to be handled differently. The first is praise. When someone does something right, call it out and do it publicly. You might do this in a team Slack channel. Hey everyone, I just wanted to highlight what Sam did on that client call yesterday. He spotted an issue before it became a problem and handled it directly. That's exactly the kind of ownership we want to see. Public praise does 2 things. It makes the person feel valued, and it shows everyone else what good looks like. If you can tie it to a core value, that's even better. This is exactly what we mean by taking ownership. The second type is opportunity feedback. This is when you've observed something that needs to change. Do this privately, never in front of the team, and do it as close to the event as possible. Don't wait for the quarterly review. By then, they've forgotten what happened, and so have you. I like to do these conversations on a video call if we're not in the same location, and I record them. It's not to be Big Brother, but it's so there's a record that that feedback was given. This matters if the behavior continues and you eventually need to make a hard decision. Here's the thing most founders get wrong. They give feedback once, nothing changes, and they give up. Feedback isn't a one-time event, it's a system, and you need to track it. I use a simple spreadsheet. Date, who, what behavior, what was the expectation, and what was their explanation. When you track feedback, patterns become obvious. You'll see the people who are consistently getting praised. They're modeling the behaviors you want. And then you'll see the people who keep getting opportunity feedback for the same things. That's your signal. Either they can't change or they won't. Either way, you have the evidence to make a decision. And this is how you remove the emotion from performance management. You're not firing someone because you don't like them. You're firing someone because you gave them clear feedback 6 times over 3 months and nothing changed. The data tells the story. One more thing. When you give opportunity feedback, always ask for their explanation. How did you see it? Sometimes they have context that you're missing. Maybe they were late because of a family emergency. Maybe they interrupted because they thought the meeting was running over. Give them a chance to explain. If it's a one-off with a good reason, fine. Note it, move on. But if you keep hearing excuses for the same behavior, that tells you something too. So to recap, beer, behavior, effect, expectation, result. Praise publicly, opportunity feedback privately. Give feedback as close to the event as possible. Track everything. Patterns become obvious. Ask for their explanation. Then hold the line. If your team isn't performing the way you need them to, and you're not giving regular structured feedback, you've got a quick win available. I've got a free operations assessment that shows you where your bottlenecks are. Links in the description. Takes about 5 minutes. See you in the next one.